Tonight is January the 23rd, 2022, and I probably should not be recording this, but I am because even though I know that I'm talking to the police tonight, if somebody was to come by the truck, it looks like I'm talking to myself, and I'm not. I'm talking to the police that can hear me. And I'm so grieved today because I thought about in 2004, I was such a slut. And I'm so embarrassed. And I didn't really think about how many. And it's not that it's a lot, it's just a lot of indiscretions that I'm not proud of. And I've had quite a bit of lesbian experiences. And I thought it was when I was younger, I thought, okay, it's a couple. It's not. And so I don't know why I thought about that today. I thought about it because I was journaling about wanting a baby cootie. And, because, people that I talk to, whenever they would talk about their veg, the women would be like, girl, my stuff's still tight like a baby. And so that's what that means. And it came from when I was married the first time. Dee didn't want to have sex the traditional way. And he said that because I had a hysterectomy that it just felt like a hole. And so I was depressed, literally just out of this world. And so, and he used to fight all the time. And then I don't really want to be mean about him, but he wanted to have sex in a strange way that was not right. And he wanted me to screw him in his butt with a dildo. And I would get no pleasure out of it whatsoever. And that's what he wanted. And he would actually come to it and he liked it. And not to mention the first night when we got married, he disappeared on our wedding night and was with a faggot. And he wanted me to put my fingers in his butt when we first got married. And I thought, that's weird. He's never wanted that before. And then as we got on into the marriage, he wanted to have sex like that. And then, so I told my family, and everybody just kind of took a joke to it that, oh, she's married to a faggot. And It was just a big deal. And so moving on into the marriage, when I told Raymond, Raymond was like, this is how sex happened with Raymond. So D kept fighting and kicking my tail. And Raymond came over when he fought me, and Raymond came over. I had never smoked before in my life. And Raymond came over, and I was 28, 26, 27 at the time. And he came over, and he had some weed, and he bought me some pizza, and he bought some alcohol. And he came in the door, and he said, "Hey, I came to check on you because I heard what happened." And I was like, "Okay." And then he kissed me, and he was a really, really good kisser. And then he put me in the room, and he gave me some of the best oral sex that I've ever had in my entire life. And I think when we had sex that day, everybody in the building knew about it. He was so well endowed, and I was not used to someone of that size. I couldn't take it. But long story short, he was amazing, and he gave me the best, at that time, sex of my life, and I was hooked. And then it turned to every 2 weeks, he would call from a private number like clockwork. And then he would, hey, and we kept it short and simple. And when he called, I gotta go help Nika, or something's going on, and I gotta go. And then I would get to be with him for about 2 or 3 hours, and we would have sex the entire time. And then I would go back home, and then we'll wait. And then it went from every 2 weeks to every week. And then every week turned to every few days. And then every few days turned to I love you, and whenever we can see each other. And then we end up having an affair for a long time. A long time. And then we just kept having sex. And I fell in love with him, and I gave him money, D's money. And then I felt that when I started doing wrong, when D left, Raymond was a turn on. And so I would give him money from me doing wrong. And that went bad too. Really, really bad. But I thought about it today. It was just, I asked God to cleanse my heart from just abuse and misuse of my body, and in ways that I didn't respect myself. And I'm so embarrassed because I want to be such a good representation of what God can do in your life. And my past experiences, sexual wise, are so. I just look at myself and be like, how could somebody be so screwed up? And nobody cared about me to say, don't do that. Or, you shouldn't be treated this way. It just went from one bad situation to the next. And it's always the same. You meet them and you have sex with them, and then you're stuck. And then the police take them away. And I thought about it today. I never knew, never paid it attention that I had sex with a mother and a son in the same day. I never thought about it. Then I never thought about you've been in well, I wouldn't say quite a few, but it's been one or two orgies. I was embarrassed. And I don't know what made me get into all that today. I think because I wanted to. The only person I've ever felt comfortable, and I don't think I told him about the orgies. I think I just told him, everything else. I think Ketchup knows about 95%. I don't think he knows about my threesomes. And I've had a few of those, a lot of those. Not a lot, but whoever I was with, I wanted to make them happy, even if it was at the expense of myself. And so, yeah, I felt bad. And so today I felt bad because I recalled an incestuous encounter. And I was probably in my younger self. I was still young. And I remember the picture. It was, it started from taking nude photos. And those nude photos went to something else. And so I prayed about it today and asked God to cleanse my heart, even though it's been so many years ago. I'm so careful about I just know what I want my life to look like. And it bothers me that I'm in so much and accused of so much wrong. That I feel horrible about in terms of it's embarrassing to be in the public with such a private situation. And I thought about just how I feel as a person. That what would make you have sex with somebody in your family. And again, I have to be careful about saying that because I just be so concerned. Then again, I don't care. But I don't want the police to make this into something that it's not. I didn't have sex. It was an adult older than me and a female. And it was my first lesbian experience. And so after that, it just kept going. And it was another one, and then it was another one after that. And then by the time I got to prison, I had already been with about 6 or 7 women. And then when I got in prison, I probably slept with about another 5 to 6. And in prison, it was different, but in prison, I fell in love twice. And I actually, I'm glad God has delivered me from that. But when I got to prison, I fell in love with Dina. We had the same birthday. And she was white and real pretty, and she had a black girl shape and a really big butt. And she was the exact, everything was me. She was just white. And I loved her. As a friend, I loved her all the way. And I got out. I didn't get out of prison. I got transferred, and Dina was Dina. She's not built like that. When she hurt, she's going on. And by the time I left the compound, Dina was already moved on. And then it went bad. And then in 2008, when I got out, probably 2009, she contacted me and she was back on drugs, and I couldn't have that in my life. I didn't want nothing to do with it. And she asked, could she come see me? And I said, mm-mm. She called me, and I knew then something was wrong because I was trying to figure out, how did you know where I was to call me? But I didn't want to get involved, even though I loved her and even though I wanted to see her and all of that. And I was actually with Honey, so it would have been just a matter of trading out. But I didn't want somebody on drugs and all of that. I didn't want to go through that. And little did I know, Honey was still having her own thing, even though that was a part of the plan too. And I don't want to get into all of that, but I thought about that today because I just felt bad. And I felt bad as a person. That why are you so screwed up? And I just felt like you're just so screwed up. And then I thought about what the police did and like how long they've been in my life, and it just seemed like my whole life has just been a waste. And so I prayed and I asked God to cleanse my heart from lesbianism and to make sure that all of that is out. And I've even said in casuality, that I would just have sex with a girl again just to be casual. But with my relationship with God, absolutely not. But if I was not with God and I just wanted to just be freaky, then yeah, would be a no-brainer. But not who I am today. And that is the part that I have a hard time looking at when I see myself. I have to say, you're not who you were. And even if you did like to eat cooter, doesn't mean you're a bad person, Crystal. There's nothing wrong with licking vagina if that's what you want to do, but, you know, doesn't make you a bad person. So, yeah, I feel some kind of way. I feel some kind of way that I had sex with a girl in my family because I'm trying to figure out the roots of this stuff. And the thing about it was when I came home and we had sex, Mommy knew. My mom already knew. She was waiting downstairs and I came in and she said, "Where have you been?" And I told her and she said, "The Lord showed me what you were over there doing and you need to go upstairs and repent." And she said, "Because the lesbians won't be tarrying in the sight of the Lord." And I felt so bad. I went upstairs and I just thought, who is she? God, she just knows everything. And she did. When I had an abortion in 2000 in 1998, 99, I had an abortion. Wait, so 95, I had an abortion in 96 or 97. 96, I had an abortion. And I really honestly believed that would have been my little girl. I wanted a little girl so bad. So bad. So bad to make her a little me. And I had an abortion and I was pregnant by Ryan Drish. And at first I was lying and saying that I was. And when we broke up, I actually was. And I went to have an abortion. And I believe that was my little girl that I've always wanted. And not even 2 months later, I was back at it again. And I had sex with Nico's dad and got pregnant and he went to jail. And then that's when I got married to Dee. And then that's when I went with Raymond, and from Raymond it went to Trab. And then Trab we cheated on each other. And when we were on breaks. And then I went to prison. And then I got out of prison and I came out with a female. And my mom knew about that too. And I said about the abortion because Mommy knew about that too. When I got back, she said, "The Lord told me where you went, and I know you haven't went and killed no children in this house." That's what she said. And she was standing at the stairs when I walked in, coming from Atlanta back in 1997, you had to go to Atlanta. 1996, you had to go to Atlanta to get an abortion. In Augusta, they wasn't doing that. And it was so dangerous back then because you had to go in through a secret compartment. You had to call. They had to verify who you were coming in, because back then people would um, want to, you know, like see what you're doing, because back then in Planned Parenthood they wanted to kill you if you're doing something like that. And so I went to Planned Parenthood and I had the abortion, and my friend Pumpkin went with me. And so I was going to say something about that, but I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to say that. So we came back. When I came back and got to the house, Mom said, I know you went and killed no kids in this house. I was like, God be just telling on me. God, who's lets her know this? And she said, the Holy Spirit told me where you were. Did you go do that? And I just lied. No. And she said, you didn't. No. I just couldn't never tell Mommy the truth. Never. I just always wanted her to think, even when I got pregnant and she was like, I just told her, I don't know how that baby got in there. I just never wanted her to think I was anything other than her little girl, that I was just always right. And then, we went through everything. And even when I got raped, it was the hardest thing in the world to tell Mommy. And when I did and she didn't support me, I don't want to talk about that. But I want God to purify my heart and purify my body and my vagina. Because when I get with my husband, like I want to be his from my heart and not just his from my body. And I've always given my body to a man, and I want to give my heart to one first. And I came here to California to get my life. And it's been everything but that. And when I came here, I seen this man. And as soon as I seen him, I said, God, that's him. I want him. I don't want nobody else but him. And I fell in love with him. And I know I'm married. But I just want what I want. I have an idea. I have a life in my head that I want. And I want that. I know that I'm married. And I know that it's a lot going on with that. I just don't think it's one man for me. I think it's whoever I want and whoever I want to be with. And I just have an image in my mind of being loved by this white man that really, really loves me and that understands all of this stuff that I went through, and he takes good care of me. And he is a special person. And he loves me. And he takes extremely good care of me. And he makes sure that I am safe. And that's his first and foremost concern. And he helps me and he tells me everything to do. And I do everything that he says. And it's not out of obligation. It's because I want to. Because I love him. Because I love his heart. And I love how he takes care of me. And I love how he takes care of my phone. And I just want that. I did want my husband back. I did for so long pray that God would just make the police leave us alone and we could just have our life. And I just don't think I can go back to that. I just don't want to. It would just be too much. Because I just see too much. And I just would never be able to get over it. I just would never be able to get over it. And everything he did, it would just spark so much. He wouldn't deserve that, and I don't want to put him through that. I just would rather forgive him and just be a really, really, really good friend and to him and to forgive him for what he did to me. But I don't want him back. I thought I did, and I thought I wanted to, but I just can't. I want something new. I want that man that I seen. I looked at him and I saw his heart, and I saw him, and I saw me in his arms, and I fell in love with him, and I want him, and I don't want nobody else but him. And he knows who he is, and so do I, and I just don't want nobody else but him. And whenever my life makes sense again, he'll find me. But until then, I just want to make amends with Ketchup and just forgive him. And I'll be honest, probably, you I swear, I thought this would be the perfect ending to this. God will just make everything alright and God will turn it and we'll be back together and he'll be my husband. And then I was just like, but do you want that? And I was just like, I don't want to do all of this and then get with him and have to relive it all over again. He don't deserve that. I looked at a picture of him the other day. He is so beautiful. Ketchup is beautiful. He is so sexy. And I think I will just always want to just ask him, did you do this to me? Like they said. I just don't want to believe it still. That's why I said I don't want to just... I thought I did. I thought I could. I've asked him, can I see you? Because I want to just see him. Because I thought, well, if I just see him. But it's not. My heart It's like in a different place. It's on a different. This life that I've had in my mind, this guy doesn't have any contractual obligations. His kids are. It's no kids. It's just me and him. I don't know whether he has some or they're grown or what, but I don't see any. It's just me and him. He has all of that special work, and it doesn't bother me because I don't understand it, and I don't look at it, and I don't get into his business. That's his world. He doesn't really indulge me in it. We live two completely different lives, but together they are special because we always have something interesting to talk about because we live so different. But he protects me like I don't know what. And that's why he is so important to me. And I think I fell in love with him because he was keeping me safe and he wasn't a part of the regular people. That was. And he saw truth. And he saw me for who I was. And so I fell in love with somebody see me. Somebody see me as a person and don't think I'm trash. Wow. And he was so beautiful. God, he is so fine. Like I seen him and I wanted to say, can you please take me home? Please. Can you please take me home? Today, can you make this be over? And every now and again, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to be quiet because just in case, he is around somewhere, he will come back and get me. So I'll be quiet. So maybe if I be quiet, all of this will go away and I can get to him sooner. And that was my plan, like for a long time. Okay, if you just be quiet, then maybe it'll go away and you can get to be with him. And I don't know. I know that today sucks because I feel bad because of my sexual past experiences with women. And then I feel bad because the FBI know about them. And it makes me mad and embarrassed because I just don't want them knowing all of that stuff and seeing all of that stuff about me. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. People just took stuff like that and they just exploited it. I don't like it. It is embarrassing. They just took that stuff and they just did what they wanted to do with it and just turned me into a bad person. And I'm not. And even at Amazon, they used to say girls. But I don't want to sleep with no girls. If I did, I would. That's not the situation anymore. It's just not. You just don't understand that sometimes you just grow out of some stuff. And you just grow out of being a criminal if you really don't want that life. And I really do want that life. I already got locked up one time. And I got locked up again. And that was it. It's just like I've had those periods in my life where you going to jail. That's a loser. Nobody had time for that. Being on probation and the fines and the fees and reporting. Nobody does that anymore. You grow, you get your stuff together, you get your credit, you buy your house, you go sit down somewhere, you raise your kids, you take care of your responsibilities, you live your life, and you make good, and you take vacations, and you have good sex, and you have a good man, and you just try to live your life good. And you try to give morals and be a part of good organizations, and you stand up for yourself, and you vote, and you do all the things that you're supposed to do. And that's what I wanted. I didn't want anything else. I'm not a criminal, and I keep saying that I'm just not. I just told on people. That you get consequences for because you told on them. And I really didn't understand that. I can't say it would have stopped me from telling. That's not going to happen, but it just would have. Okay, well, nobody really explained it. They said don't give names. That's not saying a whole lot. That's not saying if you tell on me, this is what we're going to do. They didn't say that. They didn't say if you tell on me, you're never going to work again. Or if you tell on me, you're going to be doing it. They didn't say that. They just said don't give names, don't tell on me. That's not saying anything. Where's the threat? And again, it doesn't mean that the threat would have actually did anything, but at least I would have known. So when I think about it, I've been telling on people since 2008. I came out writing the president, skipped over the entire group, went straight to the president. And T.D. Jakes said, if you look back over your life and you see traces, then that's where you're supposed to be. And when I got in school, they said I scored high being a humanitarian, a philanthropist. But, I don't want to fight it this way with all this stuff wrote all over my car. I don't mind it, but it just makes me look like you got all this stuff over your car. Oh, and she goes with women too. And she had incest with her own family member. It's just like, I'm tired of being noticed for the wrong things. And I want to be noticed for the right things. I want to be noticed for, have you heard her plan to get the homeless people off the street in California? Or did you see her business plan that she wrote? She had no experience in it whatsoever. She wrote it from God. He told her. He teaches her how to do stuff. Or she is smart in a whole different way like you wouldn't understand. Like, I'm not I'm not that way, and it's like everything that I want to do just gets exploited, and I'm not a bad person. I like to smoke weed, I like to work, and I like to have sex, and I like to have sex with whoever I'm with. Like, that is my life. I like to work, I like to cook, I like to be home, and I like to make the man that I'm with my life. Like, that is what I like to do. I don't like to do anything else. I like to do whatever he want to do. Like, whatever he is, I want that. And then just like, I really want to just have my life, and the way that I have it is to just fix my life and to just have my money, and I get paid, and me and Tom just get together and we just live our lives happily ever after, and we rich. And I'm with him, and I live my life happily ever after, and I work from home, and I tell him how to configure my businesses how I want it to be so I could be comfortable working when he's not around. And he does that for me. He's like my IT guy. And he makes sure my phone and stuff is safe. He makes sure I'm safe with the phone and that there's nothing on there to scare me. And he does, like, everything I do, he's on it. Like, the way that these people are hooked up to my phone, he's hooked up to my phone, and he see everything. And he stops disasters before they even come. And he tells me everything, and I listen to him, and he has so much wisdom. And I'm attracted to that more than anything. And all of my sexual preferences don't matter. Like, I'm not looking at him for size and all this other stuff. Sex with him is amazing because I love him. Like, I love him already, and that's so weird and so crazy because I am. I just want what I want. I want that. And I want to be peaceful, and I want to be at work, and I want to enjoy my life. It doesn't mean that anything is written in stone. It just means that if I had a choice, that's be what I want. I asked to catch up to see was there something still there. But I don't think it's nothing still there. I want him to be happy, and I don't know what he has to say or what the happiness is for him. He might be like, I'm with somebody else and I'm this and I'm that, and I'll be like, okay, I'm good for you. I'm happy for you because I'm on this kick. Came up here and seen this white man, and I fell in love with him. He's gorgeous. He is so hot, and I want him. And I already gave him a name, and I want him. And I don't want nobody else than him, but I wanted to see you to just clear the air and make sure you had some peace in your soul and your spirit, and let you know that even though I'm suing you, I'm not mad at you. But, I want this guy. Pray for me that I get him. And that's that. That would be the end of it. But that's what I want. And then, like I said, to smoke weed and to work. And to work for myself and to do everything. I mean, I'm not a bad person. That's probably what I should be doing tonight, actually, because I actually just got in the mood to write my business plan, to write it out. I already did a video to talk it out, and I actually need to do it and to put my case plans together for my 4 different subjects. I probably will have 7, to have all kind of a complex case, a not so complex, a mild, a simple case, and this, that, and other, and then put case plans together for all of them. because I want that a part of my plan too. Um, and that's how that I'm. This is totally out the subject, but that's how I know that Gianna is not a counselor. You don't have no case plan and none of that stuff that I was looking at. If I overlooked it, I did, but I didn't see one. And a case plan tells everything, and the person has a copy of that. You don't just put a case plan in a chart. A case plan has to be presented to the person, and they have a copy and they sign it. So she don't have that. So you can't say, oh, she has this diagnosis. You don't have that on a case plan, and there's no signature. That's medical fraud, girl. Have a seat. I done been to counseling way too much. And the fact of the matter is, I done been in psychology. I have 78 credits in psychology. So, that's one, psychology 101. That's the first thing you do as soon as, and I know that from just having common sense. As soon as you go in and you tell them that the first thing is, why are you here? You filled out your thing, and as soon as they see you, get your background going up. When she said there's no background stuff, none of that is in there, then ma'am, you didn't counsel me. Because that's the first thing you talk about. Where you come from, your family, your kids, because they need all of that, your genetical background, in order for you to that be a part of your case plan. So she's a lie even with that, because any counselor will tell you that's the first and foremost thing that you have to do, because in order for them to know how to properly assess you, they have to know all of your background. Are you married? Do you got kids? What was that like? Your family? Where are they? Are you here? Tell me all about yourself. You do that every time. Your first session of counseling is never about your needs. It's always about why you're there and your background, so that they could get a good biological makeup of you, so they'll know how to put your case plan together. And then towards the last 15 minutes or so, then they probably talk to you about why you're there and then what you want to do. But for that first half an hour or more, you're talking about what brought you there and your background, so that they can understand you. And then that next visit, they put a case plan together and present it to you based on what they think and how you scored out according to the DSM-5. If your symptoms present themselves enough. If you just there for something small or whatever, just counseling. But if you go into a diagnosis, they're going in that DSM-5. And in order for you to go into the DSM-5, you got to have criteria that you're going in there for. And that's where I'm going to trap her up on that stand. Because what was your basis of, ma'am? Because that doesn't even say that on your thing. You're having delusions. That's not even a reason that I came in here. And if you say in a courtroom that she had delusions, then you have to say, what are delusions about? And then you have to say what your case plan is, and you don't have no case plan established that said you was working on my delusions. So, ma'am, have a good day. Trap her up with that. The APA will trap her up with that, because of the simple fact of you didn't follow protocol. If she did have delusions, you have nothing in here saying that you treated her for that. No medication, no nothing whatsoever. All you got is in here, I told her that it was not the FBI. Ma'am, have a good day. You going to jail. You finna get them really, really sued. That's what you about to do. And you about to get them sued over there at Gilbert's grave too, because the police keep saying, and it's making me mad, they keep ignoring the fact that they diagnosed me with sarcoidosis. So since they did, I'm gonna do what they're doing. Since I told them that Ketchup married me from the IRS, and they act like it's not real based on what I told them, I'm gonna do the same thing to them. Okay, since I don't have sarcoidosis, I'm going to go put all of these lawsuits on all of y'all doctors that was in all of these hospitals, and watch how fast I be rich. Oh, I don't have sarcoidosis? Okay, bet. Then why they writing prescriptions? Methotrexate will kill you. A doctor will tell you that. You will be dead in 6 months with that methotrexate, because it doesn't adjust to everybody's symptom. No, is it methotrexate? No, it is that drug Emron. Imran, something like that. But it's for autoimmune diseases. And they give you that. And you got Imran. And you got to be tested for it. And every time I went to go get tested, I'd have been tested twice for it. And every time God done had them people tell me, do not take this. You will be dead in 3 months. They say that kills you in 3 months. Because you have to get tested to see if your body can accept it. And then once your body accepts it, you still got to go back to the doctor every week to make sure it's not breaking down your organs. Because that's the way it kills you. And every time I done got it to get to that point to have the prescription wrote for it, they tell me God have people there in that lab to do that blood work that say don't take that. So I didn't take it. But other than that, I would have been prescribed Imran twice and probably wouldn't be here today. So then I go back to asking if they say that I don't have sarcoidosis, and okay, cool. Then I'm finna go sue all of these hospitals then for them writing it, and then we'll just be done with that. Because they're not going to say I have sarcoidosis when it benefits them. Then why was these doctors? I had surgery. I had Dr. Monk. I have the CDs in the back. I don't know what's on them. But no one is making it. I was in the hospital. They put me on 9 different medications. I just was in Southern Regional in 2020. And apparently they still saw signs of my lungs being full or something because they wrote me albuterol. So if there's no sarcoidosis, then great. Then let's just run with that. We'll just slap cases on all these fake agents up here in these hospitals writing these prescriptions then. Don't even worry about it. I get on my nerves with that. Just the line that tells you, oh, why are you talking like that? Oh, you just doing something. Okay, well then, you know what? Just fine. Then let's just call an attorney and let's just sue everybody. Because you just got hospitals out of the galore. And I keep saying them hospitals and all that junk is finna clash anyway. They're getting sued anyway. Because you got agents up here writing in charts. And you're not supposed to be doing that. And then you think about all them agents up there with no name tags. You're not supposed to be writing prescriptions and in charts. And they're writing, and that man at Southern Regional, I'm going to tell the FBI on him because he wrote some serious medications that you ain't supposed to be on. And you give those people those certain medications, it makes them crazy. And I got witnesses to that because Sharon told me when they put her in prison, they pumped her up with that Hauser dog. And that's the same thing that he came in there with me on. And I got witnesses. And them people knew I got this. This going to be so good. And the FBI going to know. That man at that hospital came in there with no badge on, no nothing. And I told him, you're not finna give me anything because you are an FBI agent. And that man got mad. And the people that was there standing with him, he told them to come and give me Hauser dog. They did not move. Them people were stuck. Like, how did she know? I told him, you're not going to give me anything, and you cannot, by law, because I'm not resistant, and I'm not upset, and I'm not irate, and I'm not doing anything wrong, and you cannot just give me that because you want to. And he was furious. He was furious. He wanted to shoot me up with that Hauser dog. And I remembered Sharon saying that they gave her that in prison without a diagnosis. And that's why I was saying you cannot just do what you want to do. And that's when she started marching and calling them people the army. Because she said they would come in there every morning and shoot her in prison with the Hauser dog. And that's what he came in there with. And I told him, you won't be putting that in me. And it was 6 people. He said, come over here and hold her down. And them people did not move. Them people did not move. Because they knew that's not law. She has to be irate. She has to be, and you still don't give her that. You giving me, because I already know. I was a psychologist. You giving them a night cocktail, and it got some Benadryl in it. It got, I think, something else to sedate him or whatever. But they're giving to him a cocktail for our irate people that won't calm down or whatever. But it's nothing to give you a long-term effects. It's just to make you go to sleep so they can do what they need to do when you fighting him or whatever. But he wanted to give me that. I told him no, I'm taking that. And he wrote me a prescription. That's why I told him I'm going to get them up there at Southern Regional, because he wrote me a prescription for Seroquel. And I think Seroquel and Depakote, or Seroquel and something, those are not anxiety medications. You're going to jail. It's medical malpractice, because those are not anxiety medications. Nowhere near it. And what made you write something new being spiteful with no badges on, no nothing? And you just up here doing what you want to do. And this is the same hospital that they said, roll her in the room and let her die. We're not giving her nothing. This is that same hospital. Just doing the wrong thing. Nah, you won't be doing that. You won't be doing that. So no, I don't want to, I get mad thinking about that, because I was dying and I want to get that man in the hospital so bad, because I was dying, and that man said, I'm not giving her anything. Roll her in the room and let her down. And he came over there and looked me eye to eye. Blonde hair, short, white guy, about 5'3", 5'6", somewhere in there, looked me straight in my eyes and said, and you're going to die a very slow and miserable death. Oh, God, he's in the hospital. Oh, God. Get him out of there. You're going to die. That's what he said. You're going to die a very slow and miserable death. Oh, God, get him out of there. Whew. Jesus. And then the doctor say, take a nap. You told me to take a nap after an overdose, and you didn't come see me? And they didn't call poison control right off either. Told you they didn't. And the lady came in there, and I filed a complaint on her too. And she told me, I don't care if you get help or not. White lady. And I wrote a complaint on her too. And I went back to Southern General. And probably it was November of 2020. Yeah. And that same lady was there and thought she was finna check me in. And I told her, if you don't get away from me and get away from my folder right now before I call 911, that lady was out of there. That lady was gone. Moved her somewhere else. She did something. She ain't come around me no more. I told her, I know, ma'am, if you don't get away from me before I call 911 on you, she was gone. And I told the man, that lady is not right. And I don't want her nowhere near me tonight, and nowhere near my medications, and nowhere near anything that go on with me. I don't want her nowhere near it, because she ain't right. And I made a complaint on her the last time. And she should not be still working here. She shouldn't be working there. Shouldn't be working there at all. None of them that was there that night. And as usual, Clayton County Police, as usual. As usual. As usual. Anyway, I could just go on and on and on about that night. From me laying on the ground and the police, I wasn't on the ground yet, but the police coming to get my phone, and they act like the man told them that he didn't have no phone. Yes, he did. And the black officer and the white officer that was in the thing, they cannot say if they run them cameras back. That girl is not saying in the camera, can I have my phone? The police straight took it. They just do that every time, and they act like she's not telling the truth. Yes, I am. And so at first I was like, well, maybe they take it to go through it to see if what is in there compared to whatever they're getting. So maybe they want to see the actual phone itself and look in there. No. Every time I went to the hospital, they take the phone, and I don't get it back until I get out. And I don't mean take it as normal procedure. It be gone, confiscated at the time of arrival. They done that, and I done told the FBI that. They take my device. They came up there in Greenwood, and got it. Greenleaf, and got it. They came up in Greenleaf, walking through the hospital, acting like they was with maintenance. No, they was not with no maintenance. And they sent this man in there. Same thing. I don't know why they keep doing this. What the attraction is with gambling or whatever. I don't gamble. Maybe that's what they trying to say, that I lost my money or something. Or making it seem like I got a gambling habit. Because now that I think about it, they sent a scout even in there to watch me. And he was fine too. And they did the same thing. He tried to pick me up in there to go with him. To get out and go with him. No. And he said the same thing. I got a gambling problem. I'm over it. It's something with that. I'm so sick of the lies and stuff. I don't have no money. I was never rich. I didn't make a lot of money selling no furniture. All of that junk is a lie. I can remember everybody I sell furniture to, everybody that I done gave furniture to or whatever. I'm not lying. I'm not a liar. I'm not finna lie. I don't steal money from the IRS. I don't forge fraudulent returns. I don't go with children. I don't sell drugs. I'm not on crack. I'm not a prostitute. None of that. I don't like to do anything wrong. I don't do nothing wrong. I don't have a lot of bank accounts. I don't want a lot of bank accounts. I've had one bank in like the last 2 or 3 years, period. And any other thing that I've tried to get is only when I have a malfunction at that bank. Other than that, I don't. Even before then, even in Kentucky, I only had one bank account and I closed it. I mean, as soon as I'd seen them acting retarded, that was the end of it. And that was it. I don't have a lot of bank like that. The whole thing that they're plotting, nobody does writing checks no more. Like the whole thing. And I've never done credit cards. I done told the FBI that I don't know how many times. It is the dumbest thing anybody can do. A card will get you caught faster than anything in the world because a card is automatic and it's electronic and they can cut that thing off like that. So I've never done credit cards. Ever. 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 I used to tell people that back in the day. Why do y'all do credit cards? That will get you caught up at the register faster than anything. Because if that comes up the wrong code, they're supposed to tell you to hold on, hang tight, having a system, and they're supposed to call 911 right there and catch you at that register. That's the way it used to work. Nobody does that anymore. They don't believe me. I'd be like, Plies, for real. Tell the feds I'm retired. Nobody does crime anymore. My crime that I did went out of style. Don't write checks anymore. Oh, okay, that's over. And it didn't go out of style because it went out of style on me. I went out of style on it because I changed my life. I'm not a loser. Actually selling furniture legally and I can make money like this. Like, I was so proud of myself. I found my niche. This is what I want to do. And I'm a student and I like psychology. And I was very proud of myself. God, I'm getting my credit together. I got a nice house. I got a nice, fine husband. I was so proud of myself. I gotta go. Bye.